Senator Antic.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. I rise tonight to speak regarding a growing issue in Australian politics, being the increasing entrenchment of a political class in parliaments across the nation. Now, this is a problem which has plagued the political landscape in the United States, and as we speak, recently appointed US President Joe Biden is returning Washington to the political class by appointing a wave of long-time Democratic functionaries, political staffers and lobbyists to key positions in his administration. After all, what could be more diverse than a 78-year-old white bloke who has spent 47 years as a career politician? But politics in the United States is being returned to the swamp, and Australia needs to be careful not to repeat those mistakes by bricking in a political elite of our own. The political class in this country in the past 20 years has been growing. Where did it come from? There has long been a view that the Australian Labor Party and, to an extent, the Australian Greens are too one-dimensional because they enter the workforce through a trade union or a political office and gain entry to parliament by organising numbers at a branch level. So much so that in 2017 former Labor Prime Minister Bob Hawke warned that career politicians without enough life experience were letting the public down. Mr Hawke was quoted as saying, "My advice consistently to every young person who comes and asks me about entering politics is to make a life first." But in 2021, a rising political class is no longer an issue solely for the Labor Party, as a culture of political elitism is infecting politics at all levels. And in fact, even former Liberal Party Prime Minister John Howard recently lamented the creep of political elites when he said, "We have too many people who enter parliament now, particularly at state level, who have no experience in life other than politics. If you're on my side, they skip the trade union and they go on to be politicians. We have too many now, and I think that's part of the problem we face." Now, Parliament is responsible for making and updating laws, for representing the people and holding the government to account for its policies and actions. Parliament needs a range of views from the farthest reaches of our community. A life prior to politics, before Parliament, is so important. Forget quotas, forget diversity based on gender, race, sexual orientation. We need to bring people into Parliament from outside the political bubble to avoid stale thinking and cronyism. Beginning a career in a political or ministerial office means that from a young age a person surrounds themselves with politicians, lobbyists and other political staffers. It builds an expectation that the next step is a parliamentary career, and it builds a culture of entitlement. Such a limited professional experience perpetuates the culture of cronyism in politics and leaves people vulnerable to limited career prospects post-Parliament. The problem is universal. The problem with modern-day politics is the political class itself. Post-politics, many ex-politicians become lobbyists, further perpetuating the culture of political entitlement. Now, federally, the Liberal Party is lucky enough to have a broad range of experience in its ranks, with many ex-service people, doctors, small business people and professionals. But politics needs people who have had careers and who have come to Parliament prepared to speak their minds without fear or favour, to represent the interests of their constituencies, not watch the backs of their political allies or friends from other offices 10 years ago. There are many people who would like to consider a parliamentary career, but many who cannot crack the culture of political elitism. We should be pursuing those who might otherwise run in the opposite direction from public life. That doesn't come from political elites bricking in their own positions, but padding out their post-politics lobbying careers by ensuring their allies gain pre-selection. We must make sure that we clear the way for everyday people to serve this country, good people who've served their country outside of a parliamentary bubble. That's real diversity. The political class cannot be allowed to dominate the field. Our country deserves better.